Congratulations, both of you. My God, what amazing performances. And I mean, let's start with, how Watchmen aware were you guys before you started shooting this?
Jackie?
Man, kind of uh, vaguely at best. I mean, I wasn't aware of Watchmen. I think I'd maybe seen some characters, but never had read a comic book. So that was my first graphic novel, was reading Watchmen, and it was just like, wow, what an incredible book. I thought it was a kid's medium, and it turns out, no, man, it can be very thought-provoking.
Yeah, how about you, Jeffrey?
I wasn't. I wasn't until somebody called and they said Zack Snyder's doing this movie. We're going to send over the material, and they sent me the graphic novel, and that was my introduction to it. And I like Jackie. I kind of thought it was that this medium was geared toward a younger set, and I remember reading it and taking a deep breath and putting on a pot of coffee and saying I got to read it again because I didn't get it. It was very heavy, and there were so many different things going on, and I can still pick up that book today after reading it a million times it seems, and find something new in it.
Right, and then you find out who you're playing, and then you find out the fan base that is attached to this, which is totally incredible as far as I'm concerned. I mean, does that put pressure on you guys to like, wow, I really got to deliver here?
It creates both excitement and dread, all at the same time. They need to come up with a word for that emotion.
It's fear. That would be the word. Sure, there's the expectations of the fans of this are so high, and the kind of the scrutiny that they have had during the whole process of filming up until I think March 6th when this thing opens. They've questioned everything from Zach to us as actors to why even this should be made into a film, and I think they're going to be happy with the finished product.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so spectacular. Now, these characters are far from one-dimensional. I mean, how on earth, we could talk for hours about these guys, but seriously, how on earth do you two wrap your heads around these guys that you're playing? I mean, I can't imagine going home at night and shaking these people.
I think Rorschach's affected me more than I affected Rorschach. Just working on this guy, and diving into his head for 6 months. It's given me a little different filter that I look through. I'm no Rorschach, but he's made me a little bit more cynical.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's a tough nut to crack, that's for sure. And Jeffrey, I mean, the comedian. Ironic name because he's a sad soul as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
yeah, I'm glad you caught that. I think he's a very sad soul too. I mean, there's more to him than the fact that he's just this brutal bastard of a man. I found to be a sad soul too, and that was kind of the fun in playing him was trying to find this way to kind of convey that there is at least toward the end of his life that there is a piece of humanity in him that isn't just pure black. But a hell of a ride as an actor, and there were days that I went home and was like, what did I just do? Not as easy to shake as oh, P.S. I love you.
Yeah, not a walk in the park, this film, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Did you find that it was hard to make us like him, even though we really shouldn't have liked him?
Well, that's the main thing I wanted to kind of do was because in reading the book, I was fascinated for one that why didn't I hate this guy? There's a certain kind of charisma I guess he has, regardless of what he does. That is, you should just hate him, I guess. And every time I closed the book, I was like, God, this is amazing that I don't hate this guy. And so it was kind of trying to find that. And he's got this kind of very complicated story arc with Sally Jupiter and Mullen Silk Spector's character, and then ultimately Moloch, when he's talking to his arch enemy and says, "You're the only friend I got." This guy goes through an emotional roller coaster and bringing that and finding that humanity and making you, the audience, kind of respond to him. It was kind of the greatest thing to do.
Yeah, huge challenge, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then with you're walking around with a sock on your head for most of the film, having to do, act and put on this voice. I mean, holy crap.
You had to act?
Kind of.
What was that like for you? And then to see the final product with the black, wow.
It's a trip, isn't it? I mean, it was neat working with the sock on my head. I think it was challenging at first. It took me a while to be comfortable with it because I'm covering up my main instrument as an actor. But I just worked internally and hoped that the external would take care of itself.
Yeah, and it was very rare that all of you were together at one time.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their own scenes. What was it like when you were all on set together?
It was cool
It
as
was
beans,
awesome.
and that was the day
Cool
too.
as beans.
That was the day that they scheduled David Gibbons to come out too. It was the Crime Busters meeting, and we were all there in full getup, and it was exciting for us. But to look over at and see David there, I mean, he was just giddy, and we were giddy to see him. It was awesome.
It was a big day. I mean, seeing everybody in costume too. I mean, that was the first time we'd seen everybody in costume, because all of us have been going through these costume fittings for 3 or 4 months prior to that day, and finally to see all of us together and look down this line of the 6 superheroes was awesome. I mean, it was just we were just like kids, getting ready for their first trick or treat session, only in these super amazing costumes that were so intricate and designed by Michael Wilkinson and built by Quantum. I mean, they get so much credit. They should get so much credit for this film because for me, the costume kind of helped so much find this character, But
It's true.
It was awesome seeing everybody in their costumes.
What was it like seeing yourself for the very first time, all made up?
Again, I kind of got the giggles the first time. I realized very quickly in the costume process, it's one that you get the giggles maybe the first time, and then you realize it's going to really take 6 hours to put this on every day. So it's amazing. I'd come out of the costuming, I'd be ready to kick someone's ass because it's such a long, painful process and hard to move, sweaty, squeaky. There was always something, but ultimately it helped so much. You just kind of turned into your character, and a lot of it had to do with the costuming.
Why was Zack Snyder the perfect guy to direct this movie?
Oh man, because he was the biggest fanboy. He really wanted to make this book. He didn't want to change it and update it or go down a much more typical road with it. His sensibilities. I mean, just on and on and on. The film, I think he nailed it. I think he hit it out of the park.